Now, picture this. You walk into a DIY store, you come to a consultant and ask, hey, could you show me around those power tools? I want to learn what they could do since I plan renovation, and I want to see what those tools are capable of to see where, this would lead my renovation. Isn't that absurd? But that's exactly what I hear every second time somebody turns to me. People ask me for a demo, for a review of capabilities to make a decision where should they lead their digital transformation of the company. No, I get it. It makes sense in this area to learn at least something about the tools to plan your change, but your change should not be led by tools. Another thing that happens is the hype around technology that is generating so much noise that it's sometimes impossible to hear your own thoughts. Just think about it. If you're running a solid business, you've got customers, revenue, and you've built something real, but suddenly a nagging voice appears in your head. It whispers that you are falling behind. AI is everywhere. Your competitors are posting about their tech stack on LinkedIn. A new must-have tool pops up every single week. And that voice keeps repeating that you need an expert who will tell you what tools to buy. I bet many of you recognize yourselves. True? Then hit like to this video. But here's what I've learned after working with dozens of businesses. You don't actually need someone to tell you what to do. What if the expert you're looking for is already in the room and it's you? You just need a little mind shift when it comes to technology. I'm Jeff Tiley, and I help small and mid-sized businesses design systems that attract customers and reduce reliance on individuals. Make sure to subscribe to my channel now, otherwise you may not see me ever again. Let's jump to the story. Let me tell you how I learned to select tools for business. Unfortunately, I had to learn it the hard way. I lived this. When I was 18 or 19 years old, I started my career in my parents' company. They made and still make jackets and outerwear. I started in sales, and I quickly realized that the amount of information I needed to remember about clients was insane. It was just impossible to keep it all in my head. I knew I needed a kind of system for this mess. However, I was young and, let's be honest, pretty naive. I couldn't even put the problem into words. So what did I do? I did the worst thing possible. I started Googling different tools, and that led to two huge problems. Now, first, I got hooked. I started looking for tools for the sake of tools. I literally became a tool guy. I did not sit down and thought about what I needed. Instead, I started Googling for the best CRM, best sales tracking software, best customer management tools, and so on. At first, it was kind of exciting. You know this feeling when you are unlocking a new level in the game. But it was actually a trap which I realized only in my mid-20s. I simply wasted tons of time and money implementing tools that looked cool but didn't solve my problems. These tools only created new processes I didn't need. Now, second, I bought it blindly. The vendors and developers of these tools are incredibly good marketers. They sell you an idea that their tool is absolutely essential, that you cannot live without it. And since you don't fully understand how exactly it works, you buy. But in reality, you're investing in the magic beans which will never grow. If you're nodding, you have definitely bought a software tool that just ended up collecting digital fairy dust. I know I'm not the only one. Let me know in the comments what tool did you purchase but never used. Now, I want to explain what I mean when I say you need a little mind shift when it comes to technology. When you want to buy a physical tool in a store, you know pretty well what you can do with it. When you look for a shovel, you know you need a tool for digging. You don't think about what shape of trench you will dig with it. You look for a core function. And if it comes with more features, it's just a wonderful add-on. We always think about physical tools that way. And it's absolutely right, as tool is a practical thing. A shovel is for digging, a rake is for raking, a hammer is for hammering. It's that simple. But for some unknown reason, we change our approach when we choose digital tools. We often see them as something magical and mystical. We don't demand the same practical parameters, but we should. So when you need a digital tool, you must already know what you will use it for. You have to start from the business problem, the business goal. Now, before we move on, I want to share something with you. I made a free quiz that covers the 5 main areas you should understand before picking any tech for your business. It only takes like 5 minutes, and it will show you exactly where to focus next. You can find the link in the description below. Now, back to your business goals. Let's say you want to sell more. We can compare that universal goal to digging a trench. Now, let's think. When you operate with physical tools, you normally calculate how many meters one person can dig per day. Then you say how many days and people you need for, say, 200 meters range. It's a simple math. But with sales, we don't do that math. For some reason, we skip the thinking part. We just say we need more sales and, hope for the best. You can easily fix that. Say your goal is to sell 100 units. First, think about how many deals one salesperson can close in a week. If it's roughly 5 deals a week, you need 4 people for 5 weeks or 5 people for 4 weeks. It's exactly the same math you used for digging the trench. Once you look at it this way, sales stop being a mystery. Yes, it requires a bit more thinking because a trench is a physical and visible and sale is virtual and unclear, but it's the same mathematical process and actually zero magic. The point is, you don't need a specialist to tell you which actions you need to make more often. You just need common sense. If you build a company, you already understand what makes it tick. Maybe customers choose you because you are more likable. Well, then you need a tool that helps you get in front of more people more personally. Maybe they choose you because of your quality. Then you need a tool that better showcases your quality. I know what you're thinking. You may feel overloaded with lots of things happening around. AI is taking over, new tools are launching almost every day. I know this is stressful, but here's what I ask you to do. Forget the news. Forget the hype. Forget the informational noise. If you approach buying software the same way you buy physical tools, you are on the right track. You should ask yourself simple questions. For example, what don't I understand about my business right now? Maybe you don't have enough visibility into your sales pipeline. You can't see what's coming in the next month or quarter. Or what would I like to see? Maybe you want to know which marketing channels actually work. When you respond to these questions, you create a list of requirements, specific needs, not features, but needs. And you will need to find a tool that will help you solve these tasks. The key idea that I want you to understand is that you are the expert on your business, not me, not some random software vendor. And it's a huge mystery to me why businesses approach it from that side. I constantly meet people who say, show us a demo, we want to know what this tool can do and see if it's good for us. It's backwards. In simple words, when you want to implement tools, you are the one who is driving the bus. You go to a consultant or vendor with your spec sheet and you say, we want to achieve this result. What tools will help us achieve it? Think about buying a truck. You have a specific need. You need to haul materials from point A to point B. Maybe you need to carry heavy equipment, for example. Maybe you need 4-wheel drive for rough terrain. You have clear demands and look at trucks that meet them. You compare payload capacity, engine power, fuel efficiency, and reliability. You read reviews. You talk to people who actually use these trucks for similar purposes. You don't get distracted by entertainment system or the luxury seats unless those actually matter for your use case. And if you can't find a truck that does exactly what you need, you have 2 options. You either custom build something, which costs more, or you compromise on some of the features that's nice to have but not essential, and you buy something that's ready to go, yet cheaper. The same logic applies to technology. You need to track customer interactions and manage your sales pipeline. That's your requirements, and the software must be able to manage them. When you flip it around, everything changes. You stop being sold to and you start buying. You stop being a passive consumer of tech trends and you become an active architect of your own systems. You get tools that actually work for you instead of you working for tools. I know that when I ask you to think about your business, it may feel a little abstract. Many of you do not even know where to start and what areas to look at. Will you make mistakes? Probably. I certainly did. But you will make fewer mistakes if you start with clarity about what you're trying to solve. Will you still need help implementing? Yes, technical expertise matters, but you are hiring that expertise to execute your vision, not to create the vision for you. Will technology keep changing? Absolutely, but your business problems change more slowly than technology does. If you focus on solving real problems, you can adapt as new tools emerge. Let me know in the comments what recent tools you bought and why you choose it. Your tips and even your mistakes are equally valuable. On that note, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit like to this video to help spread the word, and see you next time. Peace.